Have you ever found yourself standing in the middle of a mess, a situation that's just completely fallen apart, and wondered where to even begin? Well, today we're going to look at a prayer that was literally born from ruins. We're diving into Psalm 79 to see how we can find hope when it feels like all hope is lost.
This devotional is brought to you by our friends at the You Need Faith in Jesus team. We're so glad you're here with us.
You know, the psalm we're looking at today asks maybe one of the most honest questions we can ask. Where is God when it all falls apart? It's a question that feels so incredibly human, and I'm guessing it's one we've all whispered at some point in our lives.
So here's our game plan. We're going to walk through this prayer in 6 parts. We'll start with a cry from the rubble, see how it turns into a plea for mercy, and end with a powerful promise of praise. It's a roadmap for us, really. All right, first things first, we need to understand the scene, because this psalm isn't just abstract poetry. It's a raw reaction to a real-life disaster. So I want you to picture this. The year is 586 BC. The mighty Babylonian army has just torn through Jerusalem. The city is a smoldering wreck, and the temple, the sacred place where God himself was said to dwell, has been desecrated and destroyed. This psalm is the cry that comes from people standing in the dust and ashes of everything they've ever known. Next up, let's really break down the pain that they were feeling. The psalm gives us this gut-wrenching insight into their despair. The very first verse just hits you with this sense of shock. Oh God, the heathen are coming to thine inheritance. They're basically screaming, God, invaders are in your land. They've trashed your house. Our beautiful city is just a pile of rubble. You can just feel the horror and disbelief in their words. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that was a long time ago. But here's how this connects directly to you and me. The New Testament says that if you're a believer, you are now the temple of God. His Spirit lives in you. So this verse is a powerful wake-up call, isn't it? When we let sin set up camp in our lives, we're defiling the very place God has chosen to make his home. And the pain wasn't just about the physical destruction. It was about deep public humiliation. Verse 4 says, we are become a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and derision to them that are round about us. They were a laughingstock. Their neighbors were looking at them saying, so where's your powerful God now? It was a total crisis of identity. And boy, does that hit home for us today. Our lives are a billboard for what we believe. The way we act, the things we say, it all reflects on the God we claim to follow. We're called to live in a way that makes people honor the name of Jesus, not mock it. Okay, so in the middle of all this pain and shame, the psalmist does something that is so vital. He gets brutally, refreshingly honest with God. He cries out in verse 5, how long, Lord, wilt thou be angry forever? Now get this, he's not pretending this is just bad luck. He recognizes this is the consequence of their sin, God's righteous anger. But his question is real. God, how long? Is this forever? It's a question from someone who's at their breaking point. And this teaches us something so incredibly important. God is not intimidated by our honest questions. He's not offended when we're confused or even angry. You know, it is so much better to cry out to him in our pain than it is to just turn away from him in silence. That honest cry is an act of faith. Okay, now we get to what I think is the most crucial moment in the entire psalm. There is a huge shift in focus, and it changes absolutely everything. So on one side, you have the cry for justice. In verse 6, he's saying, God, pour out your wrath on these guys. But then the prayer pivots. In verse 8, the focus completely changes. Oh, remember not against us former iniquities. He stops pointing the finger at the Babylonians and starts looking inward, recognizing their own sin and begging for God's mercy. And this leads to the ultimate prayer request. Verse 9 says it all. Help us, O God of our salvation, for the glory of thy name, and deliver us for thy name's sake. Do you see that? The reason for their request isn't just their own comfort anymore. It's about God's reputation. It's for his name's sake. And here is the major takeaway for us. Our prayers take on this incredible power when our main reason for praying lines up with God's main purpose for everything, which is to bring glory to his name. When our prayer becomes, God, rescue me so others can see how great you are, we are on solid ground. From that place of humility, of wanting God's glory above all else, the psalm makes one last turn into this amazing, hope-filled conclusion. The last verse isn't asking for anything. It's a vow. It's a promise. So we, thy people and sheep of thy pasture, will give thee thanks forever. We will show forth thy praise to all generations. Think about that. While they are still standing in the ruins, they are promising a future filled with nonstop praise. That is some serious faith. And that phrase, sheep of thy pasture, it just has to make us think of Jesus, doesn't it? In the Gospel of John, he says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. We belong to him. He is our good shepherd. And because of that, our whole purpose in life boils down to bringing him glory.
So this is all great, but how do we make this ancient prayer our own right here, right now? Well, this last part gives us a few practical steps. Psalm 79 basically gives us a template for praying in our hard times. Number 1, cry out honestly. Don't edit yourself. Just tell God what's going on. Number 2, confess humbly. Look inward and admit your own need for his mercy. Number 3, pray for God's glory. Make his reputation your biggest concern. And finally, number 4, vow to give thanks. Look ahead in faith and promise him the praise that's coming on the other side of it.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. We all have ruins in our lives, don't we? Areas of brokenness, failure, or loss. So what is the ruin in your life that you need to bring to the Good Shepherd today, using this powerful prayer as your guide? This devotional has been brought to you by the team at You Need Faith in Jesus. For more resources just like this, be sure to check them out. Thanks for listening.